So now we are going to install the file browser. We won't be using the default CK Editor file browser because it doesn't simply come with the new version. FCK Editor, as you may remember, had a file browser built in. CK Editor doesn't come with any file browser. So what we're going to do, we're going to download the third-party file browser, which I've been using for all my projects. It's pretty nice. It's called PDW file browser. So if you go to sourceforge.net/projects/PDW file browser, or simply Google it, try to find the PDW file browser. I'm sure you're gonna get a link to it. So once you've downloaded the file, I'm going to go to my downloads folder. You obviously have to unzip it and copy the PDW file browser folder into admin CK Editor plugins. And this is where we're going to be moving this folder. So here it is. Now, what we need to do, I'm going to expand this a little bit because we're going to be doing quite a bit of work here. First of all, you need to know, obviously, what version of PHP is your server running. If it's version 5.3 or higher, then what you're gonna have to do is rename this PHP thumb folder to, let's say, for PHP 5. For PHP lower than 5.3. And then rename this other one for PHP 5.3 and higher to just PHP thumb. And this is the case on my server because I'm running 5.3. So once we've done this, now we need to change the permissions to the cache folder to give it permissions 777 if it's obviously run on your computer. If it's run on a remote server, you would first obviously assign the different owner, and then you can set it to 755, for instance, if the owner of PHP is the same as the owner of the folder. So we can save it, apply. That's all fine. Now we can close this, our CK Editor folder and actually admin folder for the time being. And inside of the root of our file, we need to create a folder where all of our media files will be stored. So we're going to create a folder called media. Then we create the folder inside of the media called files, and another one called images. Now, again, permissions. The media file, I'm going to set it to 777 because I'm running this on my local computer. I'm going to apply the same permissions to the folders within my media folder. Okay, now if we go back to admin folder, open our CK Editor, plugins, and our PDW file. Let's open README in the editor. Going to scroll down because this is what we need to put in our config file. At the bottom, you've got CK Editor installation. So we're going to copy this file browser, browse URL, and so on. If we copy the entire thing. Now, if we go back to our file browser and find our inside of the CK Editor directly, find our config.js. Now that it's open, I'm going to hide the file browser here for the time being. Now we scroll down after the toolbar definition. We're going to paste this, what we've copied. But what we need to do is, before the file browser browse URL, we need to type config dot. And this is applying to all these variables. So same for the next one and the last one, and replacing the colons with equal symbol. And another thing we need to do, obviously it's not an array here, it's not an item in the array, so the comma needs to be replaced with a semicolon. Now if we save the file, obviously we need to make sure that we have this insert section available, image, because we're going to be using this image to insert and basically browse through using the file browser. So now we can close this file, and we can also close the README. We go back to our browser to see what files do we have here. So we scroll down again to our plugins, our PDW file browser. Now we need to open config.php, and again we scroll down a little bit. Now we need to define the path to our upload folder. So our folder will be called media, the folder which we've created earlier. Now what we need to do is to go to our admin folder. We close the CK editor for the time being and open Pages Add, for instance. We need to restrict access to our file browser if user isn't logged in, because otherwise anyone could upload files. If they know the path to the browser, they could upload any kind of files to our server, and we obviously want to prevent this from happening. So if we scroll down, you can see you've got a section allowed actions. So, and all of these actions are set to true. If we set them to false, no one will be able to upload and delete, create folders, and so on. So we keep them set to true, but we need to obviously restrict access. So what we're gonna do is, after all this copyright information here, we're going to type the following. We're gonna copy from our pages.add, starting from authorized users equals, and we have 2 double quotes. We're going to copy from this point down to the exit. We've got this if is set session username, all this block closed with the curly brace. So if we copy all this and paste it after the copyright information here in this file, now save the file. Another thing we need to do is to change the restrict go to URL to point to admin/login.php.